Hello, welcome to my show today. My name is Joseph Mbele, and I'm here at St. Olaf College. I'm in my office right now, um, and I have a very special guest, a former student, which is a great pleasure to be able to meet again. I am here in the English department. I've been here since 1991. Before this, I taught at the University of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania from 1976 in the literature department. So I have this YouTube channel. Occasionally I have a guest, and today I have a very special guest, as I've just said. I'll let her introduce yourself for a second.
Hi, I'm Sophia Schillinger. I just graduated from St. Olaf College, last year, 2024, with a independent major called Cross-Cultural Wellness Studies. And now I'm living in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, it is so nice. And you took 2 classes with me.
Yeah.
One was it the Muslim women writers?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one, was it the epic?
Epic and folklore.
Epic and folklore. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I enjoyed having you in the class. Now that you are out of here, and as we say, you are in the real world.
Yeah.
I really was curious to talk about that, how it has been for you, being out of the college and in the real world. And I will probably have 2, 3, 4 little questions, on this topic. Yeah, generally, how has it been?
Well, I say the biggest thing I've learned is, the biggest thing that's been an adjustment is like community, finding community. And I've been recently finding out after leaving St. Olaf, as my sister, she's 18 and she's going to college.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to go to University of Iowa, a bigger college, not a private college. That a private college is like a liberal arts college is a very different experience, and is less like the real world than a state university that she's going to. I think in college you get more opportunities because you have a similar schedule. You have like a sports team. Really, it doesn't take as much work to create your community. But now I'm finding, luckily I do see a lot of St. Olaf people in Minneapolis. But it's a lot of work to create a community and like feel like you have things to do without spending an exorbitant amount of money. And like after work sometimes you don't want to go out to an event, you want to just relax. But
could it be because of scheduling issues? People are doing their jobs, and so on and so on, and different schedules, maybe locations as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on in the cities. Like there's book clubs, there's like my job, I just started working at a food co-op, Seward Co-op, and it's a unionized co-op. So the workers, there's like a workers union, and they get together to do things. So like they're gonna do bowling, so I want to go, but I work during that time. So it's like you either work during the morning, or you work during the evening, or you work during the day. Like you have to kind of find a schedule of that.
Yeah. I know where you work. I know I've been in that place. I've been in the store itself. I've been there, and I realize it's a very diverse community. There are people there from all over the world.
Yeah.
Customers, maybe, workers. I don't know. Does that pose any problems or challenges in terms of cross-cultural understanding, you know.
Yeah.
Is it a challenging kind of community in that sense?
Yeah. Well, something that I didn't expect. I mean, I knew there was going to be a lot of different languages, which there are. And I speak like an intermediate amount of Spanish, so I have a card that says my name, and then it says I speak Spanish. Yo hablo español. But some customers don't speak any English.
Okay.
So they'll come in and they'll, like, one person, I don't know what was his, there's a big Ethiopian population, so he could have been Ethiopian. Because they sell, like, really big bags of teff flour. But he buys this product, and then he's asking us when he's checking out, how do I use this product? And so he's buying, like, some supplements that is worth $30, and he doesn't know, he can't read it, like, English, so it's going to be challenging for him to use the product. But I think there are cultural differences, like something that I've usually, it's not seen as culturally appropriate in the United States, like, to comment on the price of items. But I think, like, in East Africa, where that's a large portion of Seward Co-op, that's seen as normal to be like, comment. And so, like, my store manager, she didn't know how to respond to, like, when this guy said, that's expensive. Or, like, he said, I've been getting this item the same day and it hasn't been this expensive. She didn't know how to respond.
That's very interesting, because those people you're talking about, like the Africans, they come from places where, yes, you go to the market, there's a price, you're told, but you haggle. Bargaining. It's part of the culture. You can complain, this is too high. So they bring that here. In the cities. Wow. Now that is a cultural issue. Oh, that's so interesting. I never thought about it.
What else? I think just the difference of foods that I see people buying is interesting. Like, a lot of less produced food, like, what's it called? Less processed foods, and more like produce, and they're willing to spend money on produce and the bulk foods, which I think a lot of Americans are not wanting to spend money on that.
Say that again. Like the produce,
like
is it more fresh? Or?
I think they spend more money on produce. Like, they're willing to buy.
Okay. Now that's very interesting, and that brings me to another question related though. So if you take the way we teach or the way we do classes in college, and you know me, the way I teach, the way I do things quite differently in terms of not following rules too much. And my sense has been students need to experience this before they go out into the real world. Because I understand the cultural differences being from outside the USA, and I think the very organized, structured ways we do things in college is not the way you are going to experience life in a community like where you are working now. So I don't know. I try to explain to students that, you know, I'm thinking about the real world. And so don't worry too much about, you know, whether I'm very organized, whether I'm, you know. I would like to hear your comment about that, you know. Whether the college prepares you for the real world, or whether, as I've been trying to say to students, whether we really need to, you know, relax and do things differently, to some degree at least.
I think it's good to have, like, some structure and, like, to teach some structure, but I think especially with the job market now,
Mm.
I also experienced this like unstructuredness from my job working at the cafeteria, where there was like really high turnover for staff.
Okay.
So it's kind of just like it was a lot of chaos. It was a lot of
The cafeteria here?
Yeah.
Because of people coming
Yeah.
from different cultures, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because of that, like there was a lot of people who didn't speak English. Like there was people from a town, there was people from Mexico.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and there's people from Vietnam. There's people.
Yeah.
So that caused a lot of issues, but it was also because it was just a lot of first years who would work the job for 1 year and then they would leave.
Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
what happens is, especially getting right out of college, it depends where you're working, but you're kind of like going with the flow a little bit. Like you're just kind of, you don't like, there's not going to be someone handing things out to you. You're just kind of have to like go with the flow of what you're like, what a boss says or what,
Yeah.
or like it's kind of more learn as you go.
Yeah.
Life is a lot more learn as you go. And you pick up things like, I was working at the YMCA doing childcare a little bit, which was really fun. But again, it was a high turnover job. It wasn't a right fit for me. But like I learned so much there because it was that type of job where you learn a lot of life experience. Like there was just like it was a job where people have like work a while, but there was no structure at all.
Yeah, and I think honestly, you have placed yourself in a very good position there to experience all these differences in taste, in communication styles, in ways of doing things. Especially since when you applied to graduate school, you chose an intercultural communications program. And then, I know you have been thinking about going into the Peace Corps. I'm thinking the experience you are having right now is a very good preparation for the real world. Now it will be outside the US, perhaps.
Yeah, like, I think what is really great about St. Olaf College is that there's a lot of support, like a lot of career support, and that I'm really appreciating that like you get that even after you graduate. But what you don't see is that like, because it is a college that is for more people who have a higher income. I mean, they give a lot of scholarship money, but generally like the professors, the staff generally, are comfortable. But when you step outside of this college, you see a lot of people who are not in a comfortable position. And like, it's harder to know how to interact with them. And I think you don't learn that at St. Olaf unless you're doing like, unless you're working off campus, which a lot of students don't work off campus. So that's one thing I've really learned. Like, it's hard to interact with someone who is has experienced homelessness. Like, how do you and their life is super different than yours.
And that area where you work nearby, there are a lot of homeless people. You come from that store, you cross that open space. I think it is still an open space. Cedar Avenue, and then Franklin Avenue. There are a lot of homeless people camped out there. That must be quite heartbreaking. No matter how you look at it. Is it a safe area, if I may think about safety? Just working there, are there any incidents which are scary or whatever?
Well, so I know they don't do security. Like, the co-op doesn't do security. They have a manager on duty who's supposed to deal with things like that. And then if it gets to an escalated level, they'll call the cops.
Okay.
But I think it's generally safe. You know, there's like a clay center nearby. There's a Pizza Luce. There's a lot of Somalian coffee shops.
Yeah.
But there's a gym. I mean, it feels pretty safe, but it's also an area that's, you know, there are, like Professor Mbele said, there are like homeless people.
Yeah.
Like, there's a frequent person who comes into the store apparently who like asks for people to buy him things.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, that's really, you know, eye-opening.
Yeah.
You know, coming from a sheltered institution.
Yeah.
As Americans say, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are things we don't really think about much, you know, say on the college campus. Yeah. Other than that, as I've said, I think it's a very valuable experience. And you also talked about exploring college. I mean, more studies.
Oh, yeah.
Graduate school. I know there are many students who do what you are doing. You know, you finish your undergraduate degree, you take time off, you know, work a little, and then you go back to graduate school. I think that's a very good plan. I mean, that's experience in the real world.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Another thing that I've learned, that I meant to say this, that still surprises me every day. Out in the real world, people don't necessarily ask, did you go to college? Or what did you major in? Like, once you're out of college and you're walking around in the city, like, your background doesn't matter as much.
Okay.
Like, you're more, I mean, the cities is also a big place. The Twin Cities is a bigger place.
Yeah.
If you were living in Northfield, I think it would be different. But like,
yeah, people
don't necessarily know St. Olaf. So when I say the name, it's not like oh wow. It's not like a flashy, like, it's just like you're another person.
Oh, I see.
So it's kind of nice.
Yeah. Is there something you really miss from college? You know, would you rather be in college than out in the real world? Are there moments like that?
Yeah. Definitely, like, so I live in an apartment in Uptown, Minneapolis. That's where, how do I describe it? Uptown is for usually a younger crowd. There's a lot of people actually from St. Olaf and Carleton who live in Uptown. But I miss my apartment building. No one really talks to each other.
Oh.
You know, they don't interact. And like, I lived in a dorm all 4 years. People did interact in the dorm. And they did, yeah. We interacted. You kind of feel like you hear other people. I don't really hear people from my apartment building that much.
Okay.
So it's like I'm not living alone. I'm living in a complex, but I'm also, and I have a roommate. So I mean, I do have my roommate, but I do wish like I could, just in case my roommate and I need to borrow something. Yeah. Like, I wish we knew our neighbors a bit more.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah. So, as I say, I was really curious to just hear something about, you know, your experience outside of the college, your experience out in the real world. I wonder if, now that you have gotten wiser, if I may say, if there's something you might want to advise, you know, kids who are still in college. Yeah. You know, in terms of their preparation.
For us, yeah. Yeah, it's funny that you're asking me that, because I was just at a coffee shop and I ran into someone who's a senior. And they were asking me, how is it? I think, like to know to take your time. Like you don't have to rush into anything. Like you don't have to rush to, you know, go to graduate school, or you don't have to rush like to have like plans figured out right away after.
Yeah.
Like at first I was like, oh, I shouldn't be going home like right after. I should have a place of my own. So I think like knowing that it's okay to like look for support from your parents after, if you can. But also someone told me this too, like depending on where you're going, like if you're not staying in Northfield, or like if you're not staying in your college town, like join an activity or a club, so you have a routine of doing something. And you also meet people, because you're not going to meet, it's not good to just stay in your apartment, or it's really not the best.
Yeah, I'm glad, you know, we were able to meet again and chat a little. I remember the earlier videos that we made, and I'm so proud of those videos. I am very proud. I'm happy we did that. Recording, and as you will note, you know, I have always remembered these recordings, and I've used them, you know, in talking about you and your work. Absolutely. You know, your readiness to share, your readiness to come out like that, and just talk to the world. So this was another short, you know, presentation, or conversation rather. Would you have any other general observation maybe to make?
One other thing I did think about is a note is like always apply for things even if you think you're not qualified. Because
that's interesting.
Even if you think you're not qualified, like I applied for a job. No, I didn't get it, but like because you never know what they're looking for, and like you never know what they're looking for, and what you think like your idea of qualification is different than their idea. So if you could write a good like cover letter, that's, you know, if your resume is not like what you think other people's resume might look like.
So you might be able to just learn on the job. In other words, what they might come out, you know, what might come out as a job description might not be congruent with what you will really experience there. Or
like another thing too, like 2 years of experience in this field. Like that they could be, if you like, you could make that work in a lot of different ways. Like 2 years of experience doesn't have to mean a job. It could mean volunteering. Like always apply if you want it. That's another thing that I
and as you know, people in college, they worry about jobs, and you probably have a lot of interactions with people who are still looking for jobs. And the challenges, you know.
I'd say if you're a St. Olaf student, I don't know if people are going to watch this from St. Olaf, but like
there are. I do have
you have St. Olaf?
Oh yeah, I do have subscribers from St. Olaf.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely.
Utilize the Piper Center, the Career Center, or like if you're in a big city, there's usually like an education like spot, free education, free community education. You could do free community classes. You could probably get like free advising help. Utilize those resources. But also, someone told me this, just apply for a lot of things on LinkedIn or Indeed. Indeed. But I know a few people who are still looking for jobs, and I think St. Olaf is a strong, like to have the St. Olaf background is a strong. People want to hire people from St. Olaf, I think.
Well, thank you for all this advice. And you know, since you are still in the state, and I'm still here, and we'll meet from time to time. You know, we might decide to record some other conversations in the
Yeah.
future. You know, there might be some interesting experience, you know, just some issues happening in the state or in the country or around the world. Yeah, or the way things are working for you. We should definitely think about recording some more.
Yeah.
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 Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody for listening to us. And we wish you all a very nice day.
Yes.
Yeah.